This is the Scrap Metal and Commodities Recycling Report by BENLEE, Roll-Off, and Open-Top Trailers, and Raleigh and Goldsboro Metal Recycling, February 8, 2016. In this report, while there's been some stability in commodity prices, all reports are U.S. and global manufacturing continues to decline, so there is little good news on the overall economy. Steel production in the U.S. came down a bit in the last week, and while up in recent months, production remains well below last year's levels. As we reported here a few months ago, Ford indirectly said they were moving most all car production out of the United States in the coming years. With that, Ford announced just this morning major investments in Mexico that will be adding the equivalent of 2 U.S. assembly plants, which will then be shipping the cars to the United States. This is very bad news for U.S. steel production. Oil rigs, major steel users, continue their rapid decline in the U.S. and are now back to where they were 6 years ago. There are now 71% less rigs today than there were just 15 months ago. A staggering drop. Scrap steel prices remained stable last week and will be no change for the month as prices and flows remain low, which is the result of low global demand. Hot-rolled finished steel prices remained up a bit, but there is little to make these prices rise other than possible tariffs that could be put in place in the next few months. Stainless steel prices have risen a bit recently as well, but on no news, so we see no trend higher. Copper hit an approximate 5-week high last week, but retreated a bit on global weak economic news. And when looking at the 5-year copper chart, it remains near about the 7-year lows that we've seen. Aluminum prices were also up a bit, but ended down as well. And yet, like copper, while things have stabilized, aluminum remains near the multi-year lows. The U.S. jobs report was not as good as forecast for January. Creating about 151,000 jobs resulted in the unemployment rate hitting a new 8-year low at 4.9%, which is good news, but importantly, underemployment remains a major concern. U.S. factory orders tumbled in January. Major cuts in many aspects of energy production continues to have ripple effects across much of the U.S. economy. Full-year orders were down 6.6%, which was the first decline in 6 years. For positive news, we were in Dallas and Plano, Texas last week. Despite oil prices that have been declining for about 18 months, the large amount of construction cranes throughout the area was frankly rather impressive. Also, while the U.S. and the rest of the world remain in slow growth mode, many gas stations in Oklahoma are selling gas for under $1.15 a gallon, and here in Michigan, gas is under $1.50, all of which should be helping consumers, but it is not yet enough to have a major positive impact on the economy. On more good news, despite brutal snow in late January that shut down many cities, January automotive sales were strong and finished almost exactly where they were a year ago. Lastly, we're saddened to hear of the death of Morley Denbo, clearly one of the industry giants. He was actually an industry giant that helped make scrap metal into a true value-added global industry. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to the Denbo family. With that, we hope all have a safe and profitable week. My name is Greg Brown.